Another one for Tommy boy. Another one for the world. Another one for the listeners. And maybe for the...
Episode number 6 of the Third Leg Podcast. I'm your host, Riley Warren. Alongside me is my co-host, Dr. James Donovan. How we doing today, buddy?
Pretty good. Excited to talk about some sports.
Yes, sir. We got a lot to talk about today. A lot of NBA action the last couple days. We'll start off with the Sixers. They got the second win of the series tonight. The Celtics beat the Hawks. The Knicks beat the Cavs. Kings beat the Warriors. Lakers beat the Grizz. The Heat beat the Bucks. Out of all those games, lots of upsets. Which one was the most surprising to you?
Most surprising, I would definitely say Heat over the Bucks. I think their line for as far as like game wise was the biggest out of all of these. Obviously, Giannis getting hurt in the first game, or like the first 4 minutes of the game, helps with that, right? That he's probably the most dominant player in the playoffs still, or in the playoffs, and him getting hurt really hurts him. Plus, Jimmy Butler, like you said before, playoff Jimmy, or play in Jimmy, play off Jimmy, different animal. 35 points, the man went off. Chris Middleton tried his best once Giannis went down and got 33, but it wasn't enough. The Heat take game one.
Yeah, I definitely think that one was extremely surprising. I also think that the Warriors losing in the fashion that they did was a little surprising as well. De'Aaron Fox with 38, Malik Monk with 32, and Kentucky boys with 70 points at home. That place was about to blow up, bro. Sacramento they're up.
And you think, like, looking at that, if Monk has 32, he probably went off from three-point land. I think he only had 2 or 3 threes. So, like, that's insane. They couldn't be stopped. Getting to the hole, pull-up jumpers, all the above. And De'Aaron Fox might be the most fun player to watch once fourth quarter comes.
Yeah, I think he is Mr. Fourth Quarter. There's a few players in the league that go nuts in the fourth quarter, but he is top 2. I know that for sure statistically, but I think around the league, everybody knows De'Aaron Fox in the fourth quarter. Got to watch out.
Definitely. As far as what I told everyone, last episode, value-wise, Nets over the Sixers, not looking too good right now, In game one, it was the Embiid Harden show. They went off for 49 apiece. Harden went way over his point line, which is nice to see if you're a 76ers fan because, Harden used to be this big-time scorer but hasn't really been doing it much this year. And, Embiid can get his. So that was good to see. And then game 2 tonight, they took care of business again, and it wasn't Harden this time. I think he had less than 10 points and missed on every line. So full fade Harden worked well tonight. But Maxey went off for 33. So that is huge. 6 threes, 33 points. That's awesome.
Yeah, having your sixth man come in and drop 30 in a playoff game where they need to win, I mean, they got to take both at home, obviously. It's a luxury to have someone coming off the bench like that. So props off to him. Like you said, Harden tonight played a very subpar game. No stat line over 10. So that's extremely rare for him. Usually he has a low scoring night. He has 15 assists or something crazy like that and 6, 7, 8 boards. So the fact that they got the job done, someone else stepped up, that's looking really good for the 76ers. And then you look in the East and you see Giannis going down. The ball's starting to roll a little bit. You don't really know, you don't really know what's going on. So I think them and the Celtics are kind of looking at the Bucks, just kind of looking at, they're fresh meat now.
Definitely. And, I mean, the Celtics look good in game 1 against the Hawks. That is for sure. The three for them, Brown and Tatum, they did their thing. But Devin White also had a good night. Devin White, Derek White, something like that.
Derek White.
Those 3 combined for 78 points. So that's huge. That's not a guy you expect to score a big number, but I think he was in the 20s. So props off to him. He showed up, and then we said it. If the Hawks have any chance at beating the Celtics in this playoff series, Trae Young has to be that dude. He didn't do it for game 1. 5
he
of
was
18
not.
from the field. No, he was not that guy. 5 of 18 from the field, 16 points. He really struggled.
Yeah, I think the whole Hawks team struggled offensively, super low scoring. They were getting blown out by 20 pretty much the whole game. I don't think the Hawks fans, like we talked about before the series started, were really looking forward to this matchup. But after seeing the first game, they're really not looking forward to the last 3 games. So tough to see on one side. Nice to see from the Celtics. Powerhouse in the East. It's going to be fun to see, the next couple rounds. For the Hawks, we'll see next year, basically.
Good luck. Thanks for making it through the play-in, but here's your trip to Maui. Goodbye.
One game we didn't talk about was the Denver Nuggets last night. They won by about 30 points to the T-Wolves. Business as usual for them. I don't think the T-Wolves, I think honestly that their play-in little run they had was just all the energy they had, left in the tank. I don't think that they were going to be any playoff team in a 7-game series. I think they were lucky enough to even squeak into the playoffs. So I think that's going to be a 4-0 game. I think Denver's going to go to Minnesota and steal them both. I don't see that. I don't see that matchup being too crazy or anything. The Clippers and Suns game, though, that was a fucking game.
Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
A game. Kawhi with 38, 5 and 5. Durant 27, 9, 11. Westbrook, he went 9, 10 and 8. 3 for 19 shooting, but came up clutch defensively. And just being an athlete, honestly, I was surprised that they left him out there, knowing that he's like a 65% free throw shooter. He gets a couple big steals, that late block that everyone's seeing, and then he knocks down 2 clutch free throws. So it was good to see from him still having momentum and his head in the game at the end after going 3 for 20. So for Westbrook, it was good to see. It was not good to see, though, if you're a Suns fan and you lose to Kawhi Leonard dropping 38 on your head.
Yeah, and you did say before the Clippers don't have a chance. So it was nice to see that they actually competed and took game 1. But like we talked about on DraftKings, they had the who's going to score more points, Kawhi or KD. You could get KD at plus points, but we kind of talked about how if the Clippers stand any chance in this series, it's because Kawhi goes off. And he showed that last night. He went off for 38. KD only had 27, so Kawhi's up 11. If you took Kawhi, you're looking really good right now.
100%. Like you said, if the Clippers win just a few games, then more than likely Kawhi is going to go over. The Suns have a lot more offensive help, and you have Devin Booker going to go for at least 25. You think, Durant's going to go for around 25. He went for 27, but Kawhi is going to have to go over 30 plus if they want to win. So if they take more than one game, expect Kawhi to win that matchup. And the books knew. There's a reason why you could get plus money on KD. They have more scoring opportunities and people around the ball. So it'll be fun to watch the next 3 games, 3, 4, 5 games. But I definitely think that Durant's going to take the L on that one.
All right. Cavs versus Knicks. The Knicks, the underdog, they take game 1. Julius Randle was bully balling everyone for the Cavs last night. Him and Brunson combined for 46. Just crazy to see their two-headed monster go off like that, especially against, I think, the number 1 rated defense in the league. So any thoughts on that game?
Not specifically on that game, but all I could think about when I watch Brunson ball is the Mavs not being in the playoffs and taking Kyrie and trading away future while you had Brunson on your team and gave him away for a washing machine. So that's tough to see, but it is nice to see him stepping up for the Knicks, being that guy. I think that the Knicks win this, honestly. I think it'll probably be like a 4-2, 4-3, but I like the Knicks over Cleveland. If D. Mitch doesn't go for 35, the Cavs have a really rough night staying in the game. I just think there's more scoring potential for the Knicks. I would take them. I don't know what their line is right now to win the series, but I would be confident in them, especially if they're plus money.
I think they did jump to the minus money, so they're the favorites now for the series. But like you said, if Mitchell doesn't go off at least 35, the Cavs are going to really struggle. He went for 38 in game 1, and they still lost by 4. So, goes to show he has to do everything, but they still need help. Garland, I think, had 17. He was an all-star last year, averaged 20-something a game. He needs to get back to that form so he can have that 1-2 punch, so they can't just run everyone at Donovan.
For sure. And like you said, 38 points and they still lose by 4. Imagine if he doesn't get 38. They're getting blown out.
Right. Bad. And when they go to the Madison Square Garden is a different animal, especially for playoffs. So, yikes.
Yeah, big fact. So we'll see how Cleveland can adapt on the road. If they don't steal, or not steal, if they don't take a home game, we can just turn the TV off because that's going to be a 4 or 5 game series for sure.
And then the last game we haven't talked about, the good old Grizzlies versus the Lakers. You called it. You said you'll take LeBron if you get plus money any day of the week. They're up 1-0.
Come on.
They jumped to big favorites in this series now. I think they're minus 250 or even more than that now. A lot of it has to do with Ja might not play game 2. So he was going to the hole. Guy jumped in front of him. Anthony Davis jumped in front of him to try to take a charge. Ja comes down in the outstretched hand. A foosh in the PT realm of things, fall on an outstretched hand, which is the most common mechanism of injury for hand and wrist. And you can see some sprains or even fractures. So hopefully he doesn't have any of that. Hopefully it's just the bruise like they talked about or a strain of the ligament. But it's on the right hand, so that can really play a factor. It's going to be tough to shoot. He's going to be taped up for sure, I would imagine. We'll see what it does. He might only be a drive guy now. So we'll see.
I was waiting for your PhD to get used on this podcast. I'm glad we got a little bit of use out of that. I learned a new word today, foosh.
Foosh. Yeah.
Most common, foosh.
That's right. Go ahead.
With that Lakers game, I am super worried for Memphis that it's his right hand for Ja. I don't see anyone making up his scoring ability and being able to make this even a series. So, big picture, I don't see the Lakers even losing a game if Ja's not going to be at 100. Small picture wise, I'm extremely saddened, I would say, for Ja. He's just had like this big long streak of bullshit that's happened to him, and he's kind of just been in a rut for what I feel like has been the whole year.
Ever since he went on that interview and said, "We good, we're only worried about the Celtics," it's just been a downhill spiral for him and his team.
One positive side for the Grizz is Triple J got Defensive Player of the Year. That's
and the man
big.
went off for, 31 points?
Yes, sir. Second Sparty to win Defensive Player of the Year behind Draymond Green. So that's pretty cool. That's good for them. Good for them. That'll be nice. Nice for them to look back on while they're in Cabo.
What looks good for the Lakers, though, LeBron might have some help around him, huh? 5 Lakers combined for 114.
114 of the 128 points. Holy shit. He's finally got some help. Some people are hitting some open shots.
Right, and no one scored more than 30. So it was spread.
That's nice. It's good to see. I mean, like I said, it's nice to have Reeves and D'Lo. I think when you interchange them, it's really hard for the opposing point guard, like defensively. Like they both can get their own basket, and at the same time, they're both 5 to 8 assist guys. So it's extremely tough on the defense to have to cover those two guys all game long when you can't help when they pass it down to AD or LeBron because they both can hit threes. So it's like a big dimension that I feel like is opening the court up a lot for the Lakers. And then if they hit their open shots, this is what can happen.
Dangerous. Look out. Riley might have been right, everyone, for the futures.
One time for the one time. Come on. I'm good for one. The Kings and the Warriors are playing right now, I believe. We're recording this 4/17, Monday at about 10 o'clock. The Warriors versus Kings right now. The Kings lead the series 1-0. And the Warriors are minus 2.5-point favorites. What do you think's going to happen tonight?
Well, if you're looking at what Vegas thinks, they really think Golden State's going to steal that 1 point in Sacramento, or steal the one game in Sacramento to take it home for home court advantage. I would tend to lean that way. Like I said, I can't go against the defending champs, especially with them getting healthy. It took, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk to combine for 70 points in order to beat them by only 3 in the last game. So I feel like the Warriors get back on track tonight. They cover the 2.5. What do you think?
I think it's the first quarter right now, and Draymond Green already has 7 points. So I don't know what the fuck's going to happen this game, to be honest with you. Out of the 12 points, Draymond's got 7. I think anything can happen at this point. But I like the Kings, man. I like the Kings. I feel like they play like more together. Like they're more cohesive and they have more drive. And that literally means nothing if Golden State's hitting their shots. But in the playoffs, it's a big defensive big defensive plus if you have more morale and your team's like has like the upward trajectory of like playing defensive ball, because that's what's going to win championships. And at the end of the day, you're playing Golden State, so you're going to have to play the best defense of your playoffs in this first round. So I like the Kings. I like how hard they play on defense, and I think they could steal this one, bro.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised. The Kings are fun to watch. They have young talent combined with, some veteran leadership with Harrison Barnes on that team. Sabonis, as we talked, is an absolute monster. Can get you 20 rebounds and 20 points any given night. Speaking of that, I think we have a prize picks. You and I do, at least for the game. What do we got?
Yes, sir. No, you tell them what we got. What do we lock in?
Okay. Before the game, we kind of looked at some StatMuse, shout out StatMuse, about what people have done in the past in this matchup, right? We looked at Sabonis. He's gone wild in the last 6 games against Golden State. He's gone over his line for points and rebounds 5 out of the last 6. In the 6th one, he was on the hook at 32. We took his points and rebounds over 32.5, which I don't know how it's starting right now. I don't have the stats in front of me, but hopefully he's off to a decent start.
2 points, no boards.
Okay, so not so much, but he can get going in a hurry. And then the second leg, we only did 2 legs today for plus 3 or 3 times the money bet here. We took Klay Thompson over half of a free throw, so he's got to make 1 tonight. Who knows? Game 2, you never know. Klay can just get fouled 1 time and get to the line and catch that easy for us.
You just got to get to the line once, buddy. Get into the 1-and-1 and give me a ticky-tack foul on Klay Thompson. He's not missing his free throw. So I like that one a lot. If the only way I see that not happening is if Golden State runs away with it. And even then, it's so random. 1 free throw, any shot, 1 elbow touch. We'll take the chances on that. And it's Klay. He shoots tremendous from the line. So I like that. I like it.
Looking back at it, we should have took Draymond Green over his points because it looks like that already hit. So that's crazy to see. Very
Looney's
script
got
for
4
Golden
boards.
State.
Looney's got 4 boards through 5 minutes.
Good
Sabonis did get a board, though. We're looking good. Some NFL news. We had some monster fucking contract for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts signs a $255 million deal. $179.3 million guaranteed. Sheesh.
Do you think he was worth it? Truthful. Here.
I got a better question. Would you have rather paid Lamar this money or Hurts?
That's tough. I would take Lamar
because they're both they're going to be the same contract. Lamar's going to maybe get a little less, but they're going to still be around the same paid quarterback, around probably 5-year like this. I would sign him, or I like this. I mean, it's tough because every time you sign a quarterback, you're just raising the market. So it's shitty for the Eagles because they only have one option. They got to pay him. They're not going to do the Baltimore bullshit and, try to negotiate him down millions when they already know he's their guy. And he's already proved it. So if that's a 5-year deal. Last year, 3,700 yards, 22 tutties, and 6 picks. He rushed for 760 and 13 touchdowns. So 35 total TUDs, 4,400 yards. I mean, what else do you want from a quarterback? You got to pay him the most. I mean, he's got to be a top. Yeah, you want a ring from him. But most of the quarterbacks that are in the top 5 paying weren't close to the chip last year either.
I get it. So the only reason why I ask is because the Eagles, their whole premise for building their foundation has been on solid offensive line, solid defensive line, great defense, run the ball, and then their quarterback play has kind of been, up in the air. They were able to get to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, right? They won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. You pay Jalen Hurts this amount of money, and that's out the window. Like you can't go back to that strategy unless you're restarting, right? Because you're not going to be able to pay Lane Johnson, Travis Kelce, all the big boys up front, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, everyone that you have to pay in order to keep that stud, defense and offensive line. So your team, he's going to have to perform at a high clip in order for the team to stay as good as it is. But it's possible.
Hey, we're talking like 5-10 years. Is this going to be worth it? If you're speaking about the decade, they have to draft. Regardless, like they still have to have good draft. Like that's what every organization does. You have to let the old guys go, and you have to draft young guys and get them in the system. So it's not. I feel what you're saying, but at the end of the day, I think we could only think of like Eli Manning and Foles winning chips being average quarterbacks in like the last 30, 40 years. So like every other team had a stud quarterback or a top 5 quarterback. So I don't think I think the Eagles know like that is a good strategy when you don't have a quarterback, because that's the only strategy you have. But when you have a generational quarterback and you drafted him, then that's your guy. You have to move forward with him and then kind of, be more fluid with other players on the team, because their offense is great as long as they don't let up 30 points a game. They win a lot of games. That's like the strategy for the Eagles. They can put up points. They can do it fast, but as long as they don't let 30 come, they're going to win 10 games. So I think the offensive side, keep the offense hot, keep the offense happy. We'll figure out on defense. That's just kind of how they're going to have to do it. And like I said, I respect it. He went last year, from last year to this year, he went 19th in QBR to 4th, 26th in completion percentage to 11th. And in the Super Bowl, let's not forget, he had 374 total yards and 4 tutties. So he didn't bust in the Super Bowl. I think he had a year to get paid. If you were going to have a contract year, I think last year was the year for Jalen Hurts. He put up numbers. He didn't turn the ball over. He had his one costly turnover in the Super Bowl. But when you look back and he has almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, you can't really put that on the quarterback. So at the end of the day, your question, pay the man. Pay the man.
And that's what I was looking for, because I know I said everything about as far as what the Eagles are built on, but Jalen Hurts, I think, did deserve this money because, like you said, made it to the Super Bowl. I would have loved to have seen him get that last potential game-winning drive had the refs not called the pass interference, And he's a winner everywhere he goes. High school or college, he goes to Alabama, wins a national championship, is a great teammate, is willing to, do whatever's best for the team. And I think it was the coach of the Eagles today came out and said, he's like, having Michael Jordan out there, he's our guy. Like, he's our leader. There's no question about it. He's first in, last out. He holds everyone accountable. So, yes, pay the man, keep your leader for the time being, be happy, go win a Super Bowl hopefully next year.
I think he just has like one of the craziest like superhero arcs where he gets taken out of the natty game. They win without him. He transfers. Everyone's like, fuck Jalen. He's going to do shit in Oklahoma. He goes to Oklahoma, balls the fuck out. Everyone said he ain't going to do shit in the NFL. He's got a subpar, rookie season. People are still doubting him. And then he fucking just turns it up and then goes to the Super Bowl year 3. I just think his like redemption arc is huge. And now he's number 1 highest paid quarterback in the league, going from getting taken out in the national championship game to transferring to being the highest paid quarterback. I mean, his redemption arc is out of this world.
And like, okay, the Eagles invested in him not only this year with the contract, but last year with the trade to get A.J. Brown, which was absolutely huge. Best friends. I'm pretty sure they went to high school together. Like, they're actually best friends.
I did not know that. That's nuts.
Yes. I think was A.J. got drafted before Jalen, or Jalen got drafted before A.J. I can't remember how it went, but they were at each other's draft parties, I'm pretty sure. So at each other's draft parties, they spend the draft capital to get A.J. Brown. They have a great wide receiver core. And now they're dangerous. They believe in their guy. They're going to it. Whereas you have almost the same organization. If you look at what the Ravens are built on and how they've treated Lamar Jackson, is just the complete polar opposite. It's just absolutely crazy to me. Pay the guys, invest in your dudes while you have them. Imagine what Lamar could have done had he had a good wide receiver to throw to, or two good wide receivers to throw to. Or imagine what Aaron Rodgers could have done in Green Bay had they taken some draft capital and got some offensive weapons. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Aaron Rodgers had his chances with plenty of good or wide receivers. I don't even want to hear that shit. He had like 15 fucking years with great defenses and running backs and wide receivers. There's no excuse for him. And he had the Lions and the Bears in his division. Let's move past Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Lamar, though, I think he is on the side of the street shaking a can with like 18 cents in it. Like, please, can I get paid? Baltimore's paying everyone else. The only wide receiver I ever had was Hollywood Brown, who's like a D tier wide receiver. And then you try to give us fucking Deshaun Jackson last year like he was Michael Jordan. He's 45 years old, dude. Please just give me someone worth a shit. Could you imagine Lamar seeing A.J. Brown go to the Eagles and he's just sitting there just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with what I have?
Right.
We might put Huntley out there as a receiver. He's one of the more athletic guys on the field, dude. What am I supposed to fucking do?
Right. I mean, like, Rashad Bateman obviously shows flashes of being good, right, last year, but just couldn't stay on the field. He's been hurt. And then they go sign OBJ this year, or like in this offseason, but too little too late, right? Is Lamar even going to sign with the Ravens? Will yet to be seen.
I think he has to now. I think I've seen some like cryptid tweets and pictures of OBJ and Lamar like FaceTiming and shit. I think they get it done. I don't like how long they've been taking doing this. Like, it's just unsettling. If I was a Baltimore fan, especially like born and raised Baltimore fan, I would be fucking furious because he's the best quarterback you've had ever, talent wise, ever. And you're not paying him, and you're trying to pay everyone else around the ball when you need the quarterback. It hurts to watch. Now. I could only imagine if I was a Baltimore fan. I would be ripping my chest hair off.
Trent Dilfer and Steve Air McNair and Joe Flacco. Come on now.
Boo. I said talent-wise. I didn't say like wins or losses. Talent-wise.
No, I agree. I mean, his first unanimous MVP ever, right? I think
so. I mean, he's just a stud. Nobody watches Lamar and said, yeah, he's definitely not a top 7, top 5 quarterback. And Baltimore has no other option. You got to watch what Huntley did last year. You got to watch him in like 7, 8 games. You know that's not your guy. You're not winning. You're not going to a playoff. You're not competing against Pittsburgh since he's going to wipe the fucking floor with you. What are you supposed to do? Just pay the man. Get on with it. Let him like get his mind right for the season.
Right, and anyone who tries to say, like, oh, he's a scrambling quarterback, he's going to get hurt.
He's a running back, bro.
He's never gotten on a play outside the pocket. Like, the 2 plays he's gotten hurt on have been hits inside the pocket. He's good at not getting that hit stick hit when he's out of the pocket. He's smart.
But he's a running back, Jimmy.
Running back.
Don't you understand? He's a running back, bro.
Yeah.
Jesus. Do you see Baltimore winning that division with Lamar and OBJ?
It's tough to say, right? With the Bengals and their potential team that they could have. The Browns, they're getting better. Is Deshaun going to be what Deshaun was when he was playing for Houston? Or is he going to be what we saw last year with Cleveland?
Because it just depends on the massage therapist in the local area, to be honest with you.
That's true.
We will be seeing.
If he plays like he did in Houston, I think Cleveland runs away with the division. It's not close. I really am not sold on Kenny Pickett. I know everyone from the Steelers organization is like, yay, Kenny Pickett. I don't know. I'm not sold on him yet. But they have a great defense. You know, TJ Watt, Fitzpatrick, all those guys. I would say the Ravens are 1 or 2 in that division. I don't know. I think their defense can.
Where do they finish, Jimmy? Be definitive. First, second, or
third. If you made me pick, I would do Ravens take second in the division next year. Unless if Lamar's not the quarterback, they take last.
I agree with you.
I think they finish behind the Bengals. The Bengals win the division next year.
I like that too. It's probably the favorite. I would take Cincy number 1, Baltimore number 2, Cleveland number 3. 100%.
Actually, you know what? Nope.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going Baltimore 3, Cleveland 1, Cincinnati 2. Cleveland's getting rid of Kareem Hunt. I think they're going to just give the ball to Nick Chubb. He's going to run it down everyone's throats. Deshaun Watson, with a year under his belt, is going to be good to go. Cleveland's going to win the division next year. You heard it here first, folks.
Clip it. Nick Chubb gets hurt on his second rush of the year. Out for the season.
Don't say that.
Thank you, James Donovan, for the curse. You know the Cleveland's fucking luck, buddy. Someone's getting smoked in the first week.
I know.
They might not even make it out of training camp.
I forget who it was that they just signed. They picked up
Nick Chubb is a beast, though. He's super fun to watch. I think he's going to be one of the top fantasy running backs again. I didn't know they got rid of Kareem Hunt, though.
Yeah, he's out in free agency, so they haven't re-signed him. I guess they could technically, but I don't see why they would. Nick Chubb is arguably the best, if not the best, back in the league. In my eyes.
Who wins the Super Bowl next year, Denny?
Lions.
Oh, God. Hammer it. The Kool-Aid's getting smacked over here.
I mean, BetMGM came out and said that they're the most liable ticket is the Lions to win the NFC Championship and to win the Super Bowl. Like, I mean,
I think they meant in a different way as liable. I think they're going to make a lot of money off some Kool-Aid sipping Detroit fans this year, buddy. It's a lot of plus money just hanging over the Detroit fans' heads.
Don't tell me that.
Playoffs, NFC winner, 10 plus wins.
Thank you, Third Leg Podcast.
Yes, sir.
No, if I had to pick a winner of the Super Bowl.
Like.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Who?
Let's see here. Tick tock. Let's see. Who would I take? I don't want to say the chalk up Chiefs. You know, like obviously Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid. They're going to be competing for the Super Bowl.
They'll probably be there.
You know what? I'm going to go in that division. I'm going to say the Chargers. I think the Chargers get it done. They find a way. They find a way to win the close games, the games they're supposed to win, and they finally do it. Justin Herbert makes a big leap and wins MVP.
Jesus
what about
Christ, you took my team. You took my team, but I'll go with the sleeper. I will take. Give me the Bengals. Give me Joe Burr. Go Joe Shiest.
They got to go offensive line in the draft, right? Like, no doubt about it.
They are 100% going or offensive line. I think their organization will crumble from within if they don't take a lineman very, very early in the draft. Or have some kind of trade for someone that's already like a veteran or something. But they got to add some offensive line talent to that roster. I mean, that was what they were talking about 2 years ago. They're talking about this year. So, I mean, if they don't do it, something's going on. They got a little bit too much trust with the guys they have there right now.
I agree. It's the screw it, Jamar's down there somewhere, and Joe's getting hit, or you have the Joe can actually pick a receiver to throw it to, but they might not be the best names, But I mean, they have number 2 and number 3 receivers that are arguably number 1 and number 2 receivers. So I don't know. I didn't agree with the pick at the time when they took Jamar, but it's worked out for him so far, I guess.
Yeah, and then you see it and you're like, well, okay, I understand. And they have the combo of just the LSU thing, and they already play together, so it's kind of a no-brainer for them. And then you go see what Jamar does. Fuck it, Jamar's down there somewhere. That shit actually works. They win a lot of games. Fuck the line. And then the playoffs come, and you're like, fuck, we need a line. Regular season doesn't count anymore. We need a line.
Yep. Oh, I thought the Browns, they traded for Elijah Moore from the Jets, so they added that to the receiver core. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Njoku,
DPJ.
Chubb. Yep, DPJ.
DPJ.
Returning punts.
Hey, DPJ had himself a little bit of a year last year. He was getting some sneaky yards. I was targeting him on PrizePicks frequently. His receptions were always at like 2 or 3, 2.5, 3.5. I loved it.
I mean, it seems free, right?
Yo, I got a question for you.
All right.
Would you give up sports betting or sports watching? So you can still gamble on sports, but you can't watch them, or you can watch them, but you can never gamble on them.
Sports gambling, I would watch the sports still. I feel like before it came to Michigan, I watched the games a long time ago, and I enjoyed them. And sports gambling has just enhanced that. So I would get rid of it again, but it would be tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, see, I'm a real degenerate. I'll just watch it on the Gamecast for the rest of my life while I'm hammering money lines. I'll watch it on the Gamecast forever. I don't care. You ain't taking it away from me. It's legal
Never
in Michigan.
watch a Michigan football game again.
Nope, but I'm hammering the lines, baby. I'm hammering the spread.
Love it.
Fuck it. I'm a real degenerate at heart. All right, I got a top 5 for you.
Okay.
Top 5 favorite players ever. This isn't a GOAT debate. This is your personal 5.
All right. Top 5. My number one favorite sports player ever. He was my hero growing up. He obviously did something terrible, which kind of makes it not look the best. But he's the reason I wore the number 7 when I was in youth, middle school, high school. Number 1 MV7 Mike Vick. He was the guy to watch. Most electric player of all time in my eyes. The one clip I always think of is he does a little like slide spin circle.
Not the fake slide.
And gets and just absolutely breaks an ankle, and he's crazy. One of my my absolute favorite. The reason I wear number 7.
He is the GOAT. They nerfed him after that game. They made it so you couldn't fake slide, or once you initiated the slide, you're down, because it used to be like you could slide and someone still had to touch you and you could get up. He was the literal game changer. They nerfed him after that game.
Yep. Number 2, in my eyes, the best ball hawk of all time, Ed Reed.
Baby.
I love watching him. Anytime I loaded up Madden when I was a little kid, all right, first 2 trades, I'm getting Mike Vick, I'm getting Ed Reed. And that's who I played with on offense and defense. It didn't matter what team I was, as long as I had those 2. He was the most fun to watch. You hear interviews nowadays talking about who's their least favorite defender to go against. It's either Troy Polamalu or it's Ed Reed. Ed Reed's my number 2. Number 3, kind of close to home, Chauncey Billups. He was my favorite basketball player for the Pistons growing up, the 04, the early 2000s when they were pretty dang good to watch. Chauncey Billups was
the golden days, the golden era.
Mr. Big Shot himself. Number 3.
Bucky Billups.
Number 4, most people might not know him. I'm not going to lie. Baseball player. He played shortstop for the New York Mets in the early 2000s. His name is Jose Reyes. electric. 99 speed, he was the dude. You hit it in the gap, he's gone.
Triples.
The Mets were my favorite team. Pretty soon you'll see number one Mets fan, Jimmy Donovan, hanging up on the back. I got that for a birthday a long time ago, and he was a big reason why. He coincidentally also wore number 7 when he played for the Mets. So my guy played shortstop. Tons of fun.
Big number 7 guy here.
Yes, sir. And then number 5, probably hated by a lot of people, J.J. Redick. He was my college basketball guy to watch when I was growing up, and I love Duke because of him. He's most impactful for college basketball, at least in my eyes. What about you, Riley? What you got for top 5?
I think that Tyler Hansbrough and J.J. Redick were like 2 of the most hated college basketball players ever, and then they were just a rivalry. So like the whole nation could come in and just like hate both of the teams while they watch them.
No, you're 100% correct.
My top 5, I'm starting it out in the NBA. The answer, Allen Iverson. Absolute legend. I think he is my favorite basketball player to watch, listen, or even just hear stories about. He's kind of out of the media now. He just kind of pops in and out. But I would like to have podcasts or like someone interviewing Allen Iverson and just go out throughout his whole career and like teams he played on and shit like that. Because I feel like his stories are just out of this world. And he was just one of a kind. So AI, number 1, he's a legend. Number 2, he's got that dog in him, Mike Vick. Favorite NFL player ever, favorite quarterback ever. I played quarterback. We both did. He was extremely electric. I wore his shoes when he was I wore his cleats when he was still in prison. I'm a real supporter. Mike Vick till I die, baby. Number 3 is another quarterback on the complete other side of the spectrum, Tom Brady. He's an absolute legend. Most Super Bowls. Michigan man, complete opposites, bro. There's no polar opposite in quarterbacks than Michael Vick to Tom Brady. Amen. But they're next to each other in my list. Number 4, Kobe Bean Bryant. I don't know how he wasn't in your top 5. It's hard for me to picture anyone that's a big NBA fan not having him in his top 5. But I respect your decision. I think Kobe is the mindset of like, or he had like the mentality like growing up, like your parents would be like, you need to replicate this, you hear this from him, quotes, stories, whatever, from other people and himself. And it's like, you want to be that guy. So growing up, that was just someone I always looked up to, work ethic wise and stuff like that. Number 5 is a literal cheat code in Madden, Dante Hall, Chiefs kick returner.
Yes,
One
sir.
of my favorite players ever to watch. If you have time, go look up Dante Hall highlights. There's jock strap still on the ground from when he juked him out.
Human joystick.
He's a human joystick. He had 6 tutties, 8,600 total return yards. The dude was the joystick. If you ask my brother, I would literally let him score just so I could get kick returns with Dante Hall. I didn't care about the score of the game. I just wanted Dante Hall to try to get it. I could lose like 60-7, and I would be talking shit like, you let me take a kick return with Dante. I lost by 60. He was a legend. He was my favorite person to play with Madden. He was like one of the most athletic people growing up. He was super fun to watch. That was back when the Chiefs sucked, but he was fun to watch.
In my top 5 consideration, it wasn't Dante Hall, but it was someone from that Chiefs team. Priest Holmes. He was up there for me. I had his jersey growing up. I had a little curse of jerseys. Like if I got their jersey, they either A, retired, B, got hurt, or C, got traded. So my mom quit buying me jerseys. But Priest Holmes was one of the ones that I had, and I loved wearing it. He was so fun to watch. And again, same like you said, Dante Hall might be the GOAT returner if Devin Hester didn't play.
For sure. I don't think he's mad being behind Devin Hester because pre-Devin Hester, if you're an NFL fan, you know Dante Hall. So it's really just that next generation that grew up with Devin Hester that kind of forgets Dante. But I think for the majority of people over 25, Dante Hall and you remember what he did on the sticks.
Do you
It's a
have
solid
any
top five, though.
Yeah, do you have any honorable mention, people that you were considering?
Honorable mention was a hometown for me, Ben Wallace, baby.
Okay.
Fear the Fro. My Meemaw loved him. She used to have his fro. He used to have like the fro. You remember that?
Yeah,
like you could buy the fros. People were wearing them at the games. She would wear it every fucking game at home on the couch, bro. So growing up with him for 5-6 years, definitely Ben Wallace or someone from that team. That was a big part of sports for me growing up, was that '04 Piston squad. So Rashid, Ben, Rip, Chauncey, Tayshaun, any of them, but Big Ben was the most fun to watch for me.
I get it.
What about you?
Manny Ramirez came close. He was one of my favorite baseball players. And then Braylon, arguably my favorite Michigan player until Jabril Peppers. Braylon took up, I think, the most years of my life as far as favorite, but Jabril has passed him since then. But yeah, those were my close ones.
Top 5 Michigan players. Your favorite top 5 Michigan players off the top.
This is completely off the rip here. Jabril, number 1. Braylon Edwards, number 2. Denard, probably number 3. Chris Perry, number 4. And it's between Devin Bush and Mike Hart for number 5.
I like that. That's not bad.
Yep. What about you?
That's just for like you growing up, or your favorite Michigan all time?
If I got to go all time, Charles Woodson.
Not rank. Oh, okay. I was gonna say you don't have to rank them like who's the best Michigan, but just like all time your favorite Michigan players.
I mean, obviously Charles Woodson played at Michigan while I was alive, but I don't remember watching him play, so I don't count him. Sure. But he would be my number 2 if I got to choose, like him.
Okay, well, I was thinking more of just the Michigan side, so my list was more of Charles Woodson, Tom Brady, Mike Hart, Denard, and I'm going to give a sleeper. I don't know. I was going to say Mario Manningham just for clutch moments, but I don't think he's top 5 worthy whatsoever. So I'll put Jabril number 5. I always thought he was overhyped, but I really liked him. So I like Jabril. As Michigan, I think in that time he brought in a lot of hope for Michigan, even though we still haven't won a bowl game in fucking 48 years. But I think he kind of he brought some hype for Michigan. It was fun to watch. So I'll put him as number 5.
Yep, if you look at my Twitter profile, the banner is Jabril going to return a punt, and on my iPad, it's him doing the sign he used to do. So he still is. I have his jersey. I'm looking forward to getting him and Charles Woodson jerseys like framed and hanging them up one day in the man cave. So yep,
you got to get an auto on that. Got to somehow get an auto on that, bro.
Yep, I'll try.
Oh yeah, I do have one. What sport would be the funniest or most entertaining if there was a mandatory alcohol consumption? So if you had there's not a set amount, but if you had to consume alcohol prior, in between the game, which game would be the funnest to watch?
So like obviously if you wanted to go as far as danger and no one got hurt, you can guarantee that. Like nope. you can't guarantee that. Okay, then we'll take
no guarantees.
We'll take NASCAR out of it. We'll take NASCAR out of it. No drinking and driving, folks. I would have to say ice hockey. So they're like obviously you're on skates, so with drinking you're more likely to fall, which makes it feel more like I'm out there skating. Number two, as you get more intoxicated, your temper starts to flare a little bit, especially with people with high testosterone, which those guys definitely have in the time of the game. So, yeah, the tempers might flare a little bit more, might be a little more fighting. I think ice hockey is the easy number 1 for me.
I like it. I'm not going to go with it, but my number 1 was NASCAR. Number 1 was NASCAR. You got to shotgun a beer or two before you start. And, you know, NASCAR is like the big Budweiser, you know, Bud Light, whatever, sponsor basically of America. That's our thing. NASCAR and Budweiser.
You're not wrong.
If we're taking that off, I think as a whole, I'm gonna go track and field. Give me somebody doing the high jump. Give me someone doing the 800. Give me a fucking 40-yard dash, but you got to drink before. That would be the most amusing. I think you would get the most bang for your buck out of it. You'd be able to watch a lot of events, and you'd get to watch a lot of beers get drank.
Someone throwing the shot put ball after spinning around.
Imagine someone going for, 13, 14 feet on like pole vaulting or something, and you just hammered 3 beers. Give me that. I'll pay for that. Give me a drunk. That's what the Olympics should be. There should be like a section of just drunk Olympics.
The javelin throw. No one knows where it's going.
No, I would be more excited seeing relays, like a 400. You got to smack a whole beer after someone tags you, and then you run your 400.
Oh, okay.
There's a combo in there.
I like it.
Give me the relay races. Give me the hurdles. Give me all that shit. I think that would be the funniest to watch.
Definitely
most bang for your buck.
Most bang for buck.
For sure. All right, dude, let's wrap this shit up. It's been about an hour. Nobody wants to listen to us anymore.
Oh, my God. Stop it.
All right, boys, that's going to do it for us. Episode number 6. We'll see you on number 7. We appreciate you guys. Much love. Peace.
Adios.
Another one for Tommy boy. Another one for the world. Another one for the listeners. And maybe